Yes, 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 people. Welcome back to Ring Side Hoops. Ding, ding, ding. It's a five-star classic. You already know why we're all here. WrestleMania just passed. It was a big event. It was a grand event. We had a lot of fun. But your boys at Ringside Hoops are here to break it down and tell you what we think. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. First match we need to talk about main event Jay Uso versus Gunter, the ring general. Hey man, he broke the duck. He's not 0-3 no more. Respect Jay Uso. He came out on top. He conquered his fears. He beat Gunter. But surprisingly, like in my opinion, it was a decent match, but I'm surprised he won via submission. I ain't gonna lie. That was a quick submission too. Gunter tapped out mad quick. But yeah, overall it was a good match. You always know he's over with the fans, so it was solid. This I'll pass it to you because that's your guy.
Hey, yes, sir. Like you said, the streak is over. It's just him. Oops. But yeah, like you said, to me, it was a
Just
solid
him.
match. It was very physical. I'd say that it was very physical. A lot of slaps. It was just a very physical match overall. And to me, it was kind of weird watching the match. It seemed like a slow match as well. Seeing Jay like wrestle like that, not spamming of the super kicks. He did hit a lot of spears though. There was like 3 spears. He did do that, but like not too much super kicks. And overall, I think the match exceeded my expectations. And Gunter did tap out quick. I was surprised for that finish. I thought Jay was gonna get a super kick. He was gonna do a Uso splash at each of the 4 corners, and I thought that'd be the pin 1, 2, 3. But to see Jay Uso go into his submission bag and choke Gunter out like that for the win, that was crazy to see.
No, yeah, that was tough. What about you, Josh? How you felt about the match?
Um, honestly, right outcome. I agree with you guys. Right outcome, but they sold though because in my opinion, like the submission that they did kind of took away. Like if he pinned him 1, 2, 3, he would have had a bigger pop. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it ended really anticlimactic with the submission.
Mm,
And in terms of the match was fine. I feel like the match was a little more of a blood rivalry, so it needed some color. We didn't get no color, and they started the match with what a lockup. So I was expecting it to be a full out brawl, especially if someone do that to your brother. But other than that, can't complain. It's a good outcome.
yeah,
One
that was a
question though.
solid
One
match for
question. What
sure.
do you? One question. What do you guys see is next for both, man? What do you see next is for Jay? Like, what's next for him? Like, he'll does he go against a Logan Paul? Maybe Sami Zayn is heel. Like, what do you guys see next for Jay Uso as champ?
Probably Sami Zayn as heel, but ultimately, just know that I'm sorry, Jey Uso fans, don't get too comfortable. You're not keeping that belt for long. We all know this, and we all know why. Come on, hey man, we just want him to get a win. Let's enjoy it, bask in it while you can. I don't know if he'll be transitional champ. Maybe he'll have one defense or a couple, but he won't keep it for long. That's all I know.
I feel like heel Sammy would probably be cool to see because he do body any role that you give him, babyface or heel. But however, though, I feel like WrestleMania next year should be his time. I say the Royal Rumble. I would want him to win the Royal Rumble, and then for him to transfer a world title rather than him turning heel because like he's just one of those dudes. If he has like this babyface run as champion, it will be amazing. And as for Jay, Logan Paul is probably gonna be the person that he's feuding with. I don't really see anyone else unless you want to put Seth back into that picture. But to me, I just see him as a transitional champion. He's the hot hand right now, so they gave it to him. I don't see him holding it past SummerSlam for real.
Bet. All right, next match we should talk about the New Day against the War Raiders. Hey, but first things first, shout out that boy Ivar. I don't know how he's so agile at that size. God damn, that boy can move. But New Day came out on top, and you know what? I like that outcome because they've been on a crazy streak. Even though they're getting Mickey Mouse pins or dirty pins here and there, they're getting the job done. And New Day on top right now. They still talking trash about Big E, but they up right now. Cecilia, what about you? How you feel?
To me, it was an okay match. It was a great showcase of both tag teams. They did go back and forth. But like to me, the one thing that stood out the most was the crowd reaction. like we heard the crowd pop for the first match. You know, when Jey Uso came out, the entrance they popped crazy. When he won, they popped a little bit more. But then the next match after that, the New Day and Viking Raiders, it was I understand it was an okay match, but like the crowd reaction was not there. The environment, it didn't hit so well for me. I felt like a Raw match.
Okay. Damn. Damn. What about you, Josh?
I understand why they didn't get the kind of pop because if you really think about it, right, they kind of had these dudes on television not really doing anything. The reason why WrestleMania, for me, in my opinion, why it it was just the builds was like really lackluster for like majority of the matches. So if I'm being honest, you know, yeah, I watched it as a wrestling fan, but was I really impressed? No, I was not impressed with this WrestleMania. All the matches kind of just felt like matches you just see on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. There was no hype other than the name WrestleMania. There was really no hype, and most of the matches was overly predictable. There's not a match that I don't think that wasn't predictable in my opinion. But I just hope that they get to have more matches on Raw with different teams. I'm not trying to see them feud with the War Raiders some more. And they need more tag teams. I feel like the tag team division is like not that good. There's not that, especially on Raw, there's not that much teams. So I feel like they need to get more teams, call up from NXT, and let's actually have a division and let these guys cook up because they definitely can.
Yeah,
New Day versus
thoughts you on
Faction,
that?
sign me up. New Day versus Faction, sign me up for that.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
that's
Fraxium know how to cook. Hey,
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. You put a right story behind it. I'm not trying to see a match just to see a match. If you put the right story behind it, I feel like it'll be an amazing story. It'll be an amazing match for real. I agree with you, Baz.
right. Next match we should talk about Jacob Fatu against LA Knight. Yes, Jacob Fatu, you already know how it goes. Two moonsaults. He got the win. That's your new United States champion. I love the match. It wasn't too slow and it wasn't too fast. I think, and both of them, I don't know why, but their ring chemistry was pretty good. I feel like they both look good in the ring with each other. So, but yeah, I'm fine with Jacob Fatu winning as long as his story progresses the right way. LA Knight, I don't know what's next for him, but it was a good match. It was a good match overall. What about you, Basir? What do you think?
I agree. For me, it was a good match. One of the crazy spots for me, if you remember during the match when Jacob Fatu he did that moonsault and then that calling for the BTF. That was sick. That I didn't know they had that in the bag. I
Yeah,
did not know that, but it was a solid match. I am happy that Fatu won. But at the same time, it's kind of hot potato to me, as I mentioned, before in the other episodes. When a title changes hands too quickly, goes back and forth. I'm just not a fan of that. I think it like for the IC title, I think it loses its value over time if you keep doing that. But I'm just curious to see like what's next for Jacob Fatu as IC champion. Let's see go against LA Knight one more time. Let's see win that. He probably will. And what's next after LA Knight? Is there potential solo? What's the story there? Because both Tongas are injured now. I saw a report earlier that Tama is injured. We don't know how long he's out. For the time being, is it going to be Jacob Fatu and Solo? So it'll just be interesting to see what WWE does from there.
right. What about you,
For
Josh? How
me,
you feel about it?
hey, that match it was a decent match. I feel like I knew they was gonna go with Jacob Fatu because like with LA Knight, it's kind of like what can you tell? And I do agree with Baz. Like I don't like the hot potato of the championships because it really devalues a title. Like what? So for me, I feel like I knew they was gonna go this way, but it's kind of like, what do you do next? I see him being in the feud with Solo. I don't think they're gonna do it right away, but that's really the next course of action. And he's gonna have a dominant run. He's gonna have that title for at least a year. And whoever beats him for that title, we remain to see for real.
Okay, heard you on that. Next match we need to get into. Supposedly, at first, it was supposed to be a match with two all-time great luchadors. Unfortunately, Rey Mysterio couldn't make it, but we did not predict Ray Phoenix being able to make it. We gave him a very low to zero chance of making it. But that boy made it to WrestleMania and he fought El Grande Americano. But as y'all know, once El Grande puts that little steel plate up in his mask and he does the flying headbutt, that's game. you got no chance. I love the match. It was a little fast paced, but I loved it. High technical prowess. For me, it was like 4.5 stars, but yeah, it was a good ass match. And yo, Chad Gable knows how to wrestle. Like the way he can just switch up his style and he's so versatile. A good wrestler and a good all round athlete. I think that match does really good for his brand. This way, what do you think?
It was okay. It was a okay to good match for me. I'm gonna pull a note from Josh's book. It's about the story. Honestly, watching like the story between Rey Mysterio, the LWO, with El Gran Americano, Brutus Creed, and like Julius Creed, like watching that, to me it made more sense for Dragon Lee to step up and replace Rey Mysterio in that match since he was mainly in the story. Ray Phoenix, it's just random because he doesn't have that connection to Ray. Like he has no connection to that storyline whatsoever. So I feel like, as Josh mentioned earlier, they just made a match just to make a match because of the names involved. But overall, it was a good match. But I wish it was Dragon Lee instead.
Heard you on that. What
You
about you, Justin?
absolutely right. Like you literally took the words out of my mouth, right? And for you, Chris, I do agree. Like Chad Gable is really versatile. Dude was putting out moves that he ain't never did before. I seen a
Bro, you saw that backflip?
moonsault, yeah, 360. I'm like, what? So I'm like, is
Yo,
this
he
really Chad
nasty.
Gable? Like, when you really think about it, I ain't never seen bro do that. Is
Bro,
that
that
really him?
that better be Chad Gable, bro. That better be Chad Gable.
But yeah, like I absolutely agree with you. Like they just put Phoenix there because he's the hot hand. He's new. They just did the deal with Triple A. He just came from AEW, so it's really the names involved. And like Dragon Lee should have been the perfect person to like step up, and that kind of goes to show you like how they think because the story is there with them more, and not only Dragon League is more than capable of having a great match with Chad Gable, but it's kind of like, hey, they doing it based off like name values and stuff, and I don't really rock with that for real because I like the story, man. I need the story.
I need the story. I felt you on that. All right, next match we should talk about Tiffany Stratton against the Queen Charlotte Flair. It was Tiffy time at WrestleMania. The match itself, it was solid. It was solid. Charlotte Flair did surprise me. I thought her knee would act up, but she looked pretty smooth in the ring. Didn't really see too many issues from her, but yeah, it was a solid match, and ultimately, Tiffy's time is now. I just remember one thing the commentator said, kind of like how Tiffany Stratton, like her projected future, like she could have a future like Charlotte Flair, you know. So I could see that for her, but Tiffy's time is now. She got the title and she defended it against the Queen. So W Tiffany. What about you, to say how you felt?
I agree. To me, it was also a good match. It was very physical. I will say that it was very physical. As you saw, like after that match, Tiffany had like a chipped tooth, and then like she had the knot on her forehead. It was a very physical match. Like even before the match too, her entrance, like the Barbie stuff, that was very creative for her to do, and it aligned for her character. So I did like her entrance. And then going back to the match, yeah, it was a good physical match. Both of them was going after the knees. Of course, it made sense for Tiffany to go after Charlotte's knee. She was doing a lot of work on that. Even Charlotte reversing her was also working on her legs, her knees too. So that was also good to see.
Yep. What about you, Josh? How you felt?
To be honest with you, yeah, it was really good. It kind of looked it looked like a wig shoot. It really looked like a wig shoot. Like they wanted to beat the crap out of each other. Bro.
Yeah.
So it was a really good match. For some reason, when it comes to WrestleMania, like Charlotte, in my opinion, minus one WrestleMania, she always do deliver. And I'm hoping that whatever was said on SmackDown or during the build wasn't really taking too personal. Cause like I do feel sometimes like they be taking it too personal. But other than that, it had a okay build, not the best build, and at WrestleMania it did what it needed to do. I just want to see they just need to keep Charlotte away from the title picture for now because I'm kind of getting tired of her in the title picture because every time she come back, she's in the title picture. I want them to do more women's matches where it doesn't evolve, like it doesn't need to involve a title. Like, why is that so hard to do? right? Because in my opinion, I don't want to go on a rant. I see a bunch of stuff on WrestleMania that just didn't make sense for it to be there, and things that should have been there wasn't there. So I'm just hoping that they give her a nice feud with somebody else that's away from the women's title, or she might just go on hiatus. I don't know, but that's how I'm feeling.
So you was about to say something.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say, a couple episodes ago, we did talk about Charlotte and her knee because we saw the Royal Rumble. She was limping. It didn't look too good. But we've seen her WrestleMania. Hey, she beat the allegations. She beat the wash allegations. She is now washed.
Hey,
So I do want to
respect
say
the
that.
queen, bro. Respect the queen. Put the knee injury in the bag, bro. Respect the queen. But Josh was speaking about a women's match with no title involved. There was a women's match with no title involved in night one. Jade Cargill against Naomi. We all know the backstory against this. We all know Naomi ran over Jade Cargill, which is crazy work. I ain't gonna lie. You can't let somebody get away with that. But Jade Cargill ended up winning the match. It was a solid match. And yo, bro, both they fits was tough. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the drip was tough on both of them. But yeah, the match was valid. I think it was a solid match. Both of them showcased their strength, but Jade Cargill's back and she main evented, so W match. What about you, Basir? How you feel about
I agree. Great entrance from both of them. Great presentations. With Naomi, she had a caution tape everywhere. That was great. With Jade, that called me out of nowhere. The guy from the Weather Channel was talking. He was like, a story. He was giving out a forecast. He was like, yeah, man, sunny outside Legion Stadium. He was like, oh shoot, a storm is coming. Like the whole bit of hey, that was cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was cool to see. Well, in terms of the match, hey, Jay did step up. I mentioned that past wrestling episode. We did speak about this, saying this is Jay's first one-on-one match. She hasn't had too many matches during her WWE stint. She has to show up. She has to show that she improved for wrestling craft. She has to improve that. And I feel like with this match, she did. It was a great match between them two. And I feel like they did a good job.
it? Hey, Josh, how did you feel about this?
I, honestly, great match. I feel like the outcome. I just didn't agree with the outcome because it's kind of like, what do you do from there? Like, I get the babyface winning, but like, if they're gonna continue this, it doesn't make sense, right? I feel like the heel should have won, in my opinion.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All
Yeah,
right,
even though I agree, like I understand where Josh is coming from, and for me, I see what's next from here. Probably not. Like, if they do decide to run it back, I think Naomi gets the win after that. Or even so, like if they decide not to do that, you can lock it in. You're hearing it first. Naomi will win the Money in the Bank. You can lock. You heard it here first. You can lock it in. She will win that Money in the Bank.
really,
Lock it in.
I like that. I like that.
I would
That's
like that
possible. I
for
like that.
that's feasible, definitely.
Lock it in.
All right, the main event match for night one, triple threat. Seth freaking Rollins, the Visionary, versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. It was a tough contest, fierce battle, but the Visionary, Seth Rollins, came out on top because he always has a plan. And at the end of the day, it's just business. Don't take it personal. Paul Heyman, I ain't gonna lie, he got involved in this match way too much. Roman was right. Like, for me personally, I love this match. I love the story and I love how it ended out. I'm not gonna lie, when Paul Heyman turned heel on CM Punk, I was like, okay, that makes sense, right? And then I was like, and then Roman was smiling. I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, you would never betray your tribal chief. He low blowed Roman too, and I was like, and then Seth is just smiling, and I'm like, wow, 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 wow. That I love that for Seth. You have no idea how much I love that for Seth. And it just makes me think about that promo Roman cut too in SmackDown, or was it Raw? I can't really remember. But he was basically telling Paul Heyman, "Why should I have to pay for your sin for a dumb favor? That makes no sense." And he was right. So I'm very interested to see how Roman's gonna bounce back from this. I'm interested to see how CM Punk is gonna bounce back from this, and I'm interested to see what's gonna happen to Paul Heyman from here. But ultimately, it was a great match, and I did like the outcome, and it's what I predicted too. Josh, this time I'll start with you.
Yeah, in my opinion, great match is actually the match that probably saved night one. In my opinion, this is the match that saved night one. It's the best match of WrestleMania this year, and Seth Rollins be cooking. He's slowly becoming one of my favorites again. And with the results, I ain't really too surprised, but I am looking forward to see where they go with it. But in my opinion, who I would want to be champion by the end of the year should be Seth Rollins. It's the only one that makes sense, right, on that show. Whether he end up on SmackDown, whether no, he's not gonna be on SmackDown because Cena's on SmackDown, right? What whatever show he's on, he's gonna be the world champion by the end of the year. That's where I need him. That's where it would make the most sense. And then you have a babyface take him down. But hey, it was amazing. Like the storytelling, that's why the match was so good. It was the story, right? And mind you, the build was it was good. It was good, but it was a story. Like there was just so much elements, and then they still had that element of surprise. Like perfect, 10 out of 10. I like it.
Yeah, what about you, Basa? How did you feel?
Before I even talk about the match, because that was the match of the night, I do want to give a special shout out to CM Punk. I love the entrance because first when he was walking out, it played his old theme song, "The Fire Burns." He cut like a promo saying that he's not addicted, to drugs. He don't do drugs. He don't drink. His addiction is wrestling. That classic promo he recited,
Yeah,
that was amazing to
that's tough.
see. And then the transition to Cole personality, that was fire. It was fire. But as I mentioned earlier, match of the night. This is one of the greatest triple threats I've seen in my life. That's how great the match was for me. And one of the moments of the match I like was the Shield tease. You remember, hey, Punk was laid down. He's rolling out, to the ring, and Seth Rollins like, "Hey, man, you work together. Let's get this man out of here, man." He was like, "You need me. You needed Paul Heyman. You needed me. You needed Mox." Like he did a callback to all the Shield, like other people, like Roman needed. And I thought I thought we was gonna see a Shield power bomb through the table. Seth was ready, and the Roman, did a hoo and he smacks it. He punched Seth Rollins, man. He took out Seth. He's outdoing myself. He took CM Punk, power bomb CM Punk to the table. I was like, oh shoot. Then he looked at Seth Rollins, picked up Seth, a power bomb to the table. So now that was a crazy spot. That was my favorite spot of the match. And then I want to highlight what you said earlier too, talking about Paul Heyman. For me, hey, Paul Heyman, when it comes to like his acting and all that, his acting, he's
Top
great. He's
tier.
brilliant. He is top. He is brilliant because you could tell the way he did low blow CM Punk. It looked like he didn't want to do that. Like legit, he did not want to low blow CM Punk. He said he told CM Punk, "You made me do this. I did not want to do this. You made me do this." But when it came time to low blow Roman Reigns, he did that with no hesitation. And I said, when he low blowed him, like he was adding mad force. Like you saw, like he was stretching his arm and everything, like mad unnecessary. Like he was doing all of that just for Roman Reigns. So the difference between like CM Punk and Roman Reigns, that was interesting to see. Maybe, hey, does he have some type of love for CM Punk that he was so sent to do it? Hey, we don't know. That could be another chapter. But him and Roman Reigns, obviously based on that, it's done. And now, hey, moving to Monday Night Raw, what we saw Monday Night Raw, like the next steps. Hey, Braun Breaker is added to the group. Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, because that had me hyped. Because Roman came out, he speared Seth Rollins. He looked at Paul Heyman, Superman punch to Paul Heyman. He was going for a spear, and who comes out? Braun Breaker spared him. He spared the hell out of him. That and he took off that hoodie off, speared Punk. Then Seth curb stomped the both of them. That that was a great ending to Monday Night Raw. And hey, it seems like CM Punk, Roman Reigns might have to team together against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. So it'll be
So what we
curious to
saying?
see.
A temporary shield? What we saying?
Hey, hey, from Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, I've seen a lot of people online talk about Evolution 2.0. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I am not mad about that. Let's
Hmm.
ask some potential members. Our boy, our boy on SmackDown, I wouldn't say struggling, but we know his status on SmackDown. Hey, Carmelo Hayes. Hey, add Carmelo Hayes to the
Here
group now.
we
I love
go.
that. Hey, I
Here
heard people
comes the
say
Carmelo plug.
I had people say out of faction. Faction doesn't. I don't like the idea of faction. I don't like that in that group. It doesn't. I don't think they fit too well. But hey, Carmelo Hayes, maybe Austin Theory, make Austin Theory a serious heel again. Not the nonsense he's doing. Great. I mean, yeah, not the stuff he's doing with Grayson Waller. Hey, Carmelo Hayes, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. Hey, that's a nice group to me.
Hey, okay. Josh, how did you feel about that?
That was great. That was that was not predictable at all. It was really great, and I feel like if you really look at it, Roman Reigns was the one who eliminated Braun Breaker from the Royal Rumble. I don't know if you guys remember. So, and it was what Braun Breaker speared him, and then Braun Breaker was about to throw him out, and then Roman reversed him and throw it out. So that's great. That's great storytelling. I just want them to continue and see if they're gonna cook. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do. And yeah, I've seen potential people that might join. So I'm wondering who they're gonna pick for real.
Uh, Definitely something we look forward to seeing. We will move on tonight to a WrestleMania. We'll start off with the Women's World Championship. Io Sky versus the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. As y'all know, it's just a Sky. Io Sky defended her title exactly like I predicted her to. It was a good match. I think all three women got to show off their offense. There was definitely heightened drama as well. But Io Sky ultimately, I loved how the match ended with just Io Sky stealing the win and pinning Bianca. So yeah, it's just a Sky at the end of the day, and I love it for Io. She's had a great year, and personally, she deserves this. She does. Credit to Rhea Ripley for doing whatever she wanted just to get involved in this match. But sometimes you gotta earn it. You gotta fight, and that's what Io Sky did. Josh, I'll pass it over to you. What did you think about the match?
Great match. The that night two had way better matches than night one in my opinion. And that match was amazing. I'm not surprised. You have three talented people in the ring, and they all doing their thing for real. And I'm glad that the outcome was EO. And I feel like a lot of the crowd is kind of getting tired of Bianca being. It's kind of like with Charlotte. It's kind of like she. I mean, she sat out for 2 years with Jade Cargill, but like WWE have this rotating three women that they put in a women's title match every other year or every year. People are starting to get tired of it. So I just want her to go back on SmackDown and finish tie up loose end with Jade Cargill and Naomi. I feel like that's where she needs to be at the moment. EO need new challengers. We need more people vying for the world title rather than the same people that's been vying for it. But other than that, great match, perfect outcome.
What about you, Basura? How do you feel about it?
Match of the night. The first match, hey, match of the night. It was a great opener. Everybody got the moment to shine, and I'm just happy that Io Sky won. Like the couple episodes we spoke about, Io Sky needed this win. If she lost this, not only she'd be 0-3 at WrestleMania, but she'll have one of the shortest female reigns ever. And obviously that is not good because she's one of the goats and she deserves more than that. But for me, I'm just looking forward to see what's next for Io Sky. We did see on Monday Night Raw, she had a match for Stephanie, champion versus champion. Not a fan of that, just like Josh, not a fan of champion versus champion. But it was just interesting to see, not Stephanie, Roxanne Perez interfered, Julia interfered, Rhea Ripley made the save. So now there's five females in that picture. I'm just curious about what's gonna happen. Julia versus Io Sky for the championship, or when they call out Julia. Hey, I'll love to see that. That's gonna be a banger match. Of course, the story matters. You have to make the story for that. But if you're going to call up Julia and you're going to call up Roxanne Perez, I wouldn't mind those matches. Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez for the championship, I'll take that. Julia versus Io Scott, I'll take that. Julia versus Rhea
Mm-hmm.
Ripley, I'll take that. Rhea Ripley versus
Mm-hmm.
Roxanne Perez, I'll take all those matches. Those matches all sound
Mm-hmm.
good. So it'll be interesting to see how the females division on Monday Night Raw unfolds. And for Belair, she's not. I believe she's still a SmackDown superstar. So it'll be interesting to see what's next for her. The crowd's been booing her. Does she, lean into like the heel route? Maybe they put her back into that Naomi and Jay storyline. Maybe there's something there. Maybe she helps Naomi win. Maybe it becomes a triple threat. We don't know, but I think that's the direction they're probably going to.
Yeah. Hey man, sounds like we could get a future 6-star clash. All right. All right. Next match we should talk about Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. At the end of the day, Drew hits a fatal claymore to Damian Priest and gets the win. You know, it was a good match. It was an extreme match. You definitely felt it was going down to the wire, and both of them was giving it everything they had. They were struggling to get up outside the ring at one point, but Drew came out on top, and I'm happy for him. I did go against him in my prediction. I thought Damian would get the win, but Drew didn't sell this time. He locked in and he got the win. Josh, I'll start with you because I know Drew's your guy, so you can
Yeah,
take the
that's
floor.
my guy. Like I feel like they haven't really been doing them, justice. Like he's a fruit roll up meme, but he desperately needed that win at WrestleMania. And I'm not gonna lie, that's another person by the end of the year or the next year he should be world champion because there's no way a guy of Drew McIntyre's caliber, like one of the best characters that we've seen all year and even last year, don't win a world title. So I'm glad they gave it to him. Do I want to see this match again? No. Are we probably going to see it again? Probably, because I feel like they love to do 50-50 booking and they love to give the baby faces the win at the end of the day. But it was a great match. It was physical, and we needed this. I needed this, and I'm so happy that he won.
Josh been praying for this, y'all. He's been praying for this. Basilio, how did you feel about the match?
I agree with the both of you guys. Drew McIntyre, he needed to win this match. He really did need to win this match. It was a very physical match. A lot of weapons. One of the craziest spots for me is when Damian Priest, or as Drew calls him, Timu Undertaker, when he was doing like old school in the top rope, and then Drew pushed him, and we went to the two tables. Man, get down, man! Stop doing that nonsense, man. Push him to the two tables. That was a cool spot for me. Also, as you mentioned, he took his fall. He tweeted LOL bored at work. It's crazy. Watching it live, as soon as he tweeted on that, I grabbed my phone so quick. I went straight to his ex profile. I just liked the tweet. That was
Nah,
that was
he
crazy. But
he got
I
it.
agree.
He got it for that.
Physical match. Drew needed to win. It's gonna be what Drew does from here on out. Hopefully, moves on from Damian Priest, but most likely WWE they do like running it back sometime, so that will probably happen. But hopefully he moves on. Let's see what he does next. Is it Cody Rhodes? Hopefully, actually, no, not Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes coming out the loss. Somebody has to get fed to that Cody, so probably not Drew.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, next match we should talk about the fatal four way for the IC title, Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker. Now, me personally, I thought Finn would win, but unfortunately, the nickname Josh had for him was right. He might actually be Finn Balor. I ain't gonna lie. He had it all in his hands, y'all. He had the world in his hands, and Dominic stole it from him. But we were right. Someone from the Judgment Day did end up winning that match. So Dirty Dom is the IC champion now. As for the match, it was quicker than I expected, but it was a good match. I loved it. All four fighters seem to get their offense. Carlito's always interrupting something, eating a damn apple, and Braun Breaker's always gonna spear him. That's what happens when you don't mind your business. Yep, what we learned. But it was a good match. It was a good match, and I'm okay with Dirty Dom winning that. So it's gonna be nice to see how they cook up that story. And we saw in the ring that he did try to turn heel on Finn Balor. Finn Balor reversed it. So yeah, it's gonna be seeing how the Judgment Day just crash out and split from Finn Balor and what Finn's gonna do about it ultimately. But I thought it was a good match. So say, what about you? Because I know Finn Balor's your guy.
Yeah, if I wasn't biased, I would say it was a good match. But just because I'm a big supporter of Finn Balor, and he got pinned, so I know Johnson to say some nonsense. Hey man, that was an awful match. Awful fitted. Now I'm playing. It was a solid match. For me, the person that stood out the most in this match was Braun Breaker. He was handling all of them. He was manhandling all of them. They couldn't do too much to him. And as you mentioned, the Spirit Carlito, that was sick to see. Because I was curious about what's Carlito doing. Because I know he's not gonna put Penta to the table. Obviously, they're not going to give him that. Then all the camera pants, all you see is Braun Breaker and Carlito just looking up. Like he sees Braun Breaker, he looks like mad shock, mad stun, and then Bobby just spares the hell out of him. That was cool to see. Another spot, as you mentioned, Finn Balor, he's struggling. He's on the ropes. Dom looks at him. The crowd's starting to cheer. They getting a little crazy. He tried to go for the 619. Yo, Finn Balor catches him. He was like, what?
Right,
He drops,
stop
he
that.
drops down. He just stomps, just stomping him out. That was cool to see. And the ending, hey man, I got so hyped in the ending, but I knew it was over, man. I saw Finn Balor, he took out Braun Breaker, hit the coup de grace. 1, Dude, you see the frog splash. Once I saw the
The
frog splash on
frog
film,
splash.
I was like, no, he's not kicking out. Oh, so it's 1, 2, 3. And
Two,
I'm like,
three.
no,
Ding ding
man.
ding.
I just said this guy was not going to be Penn Balor. I know Josh is there. I mean, we can't see him now, but I know he's smiling. That's what he prayed for. But
He prayed for
after
that.
Dom earned it though. He's been putting in great heel work. He did earn it. It was just a cool moment because the fans gave him the moment that he deserved because they cheered him. They was going crazy for him. And then when he was walking out the ring with the title, he ran back in the ring. He ran back into the ring. I'm not sure if that was planned or not. He just felt the moment. He deserved it.
Well, fact. Josh, how did
Yeah,
you feel about it?
with him running back into the ring, they called an audible and they told him to go do it because he left a little too early. Because but even with that, now I'm thinking about it in theory, like it's gonna be kind of hard to see what they do now because like he's gonna get some crazy reaction. Because I remember I had said this a while ago, like that dude is gonna be a babyface. It's gonna be kind of hard because his character is mainly heel, but the fans are gonna like love him, and he's really gonna be a babyface. Um, Finn Balor, man, I ain't gonna lie, like great wrestler. He's actually one of my favorites, believe it or not. I only call him Pin Balor because they don't do nothing with him. Bro. He don't move me no more. They don't do nothing with him, right? But I'm not gonna lie, like he's gonna be feuding with Dom majority of the year, and he actually might, in my opinion, they might give him the strap eventually. But like, I just don't know who's gonna be the heel and who's gonna be the babyface because I feel like, yeah, the Judgment Day, is a faction, but I feel like they're gonna have Finn be heel. I don't really see Finn turning into a babyface. I could be wrong, but I don't really see them having that. But I'm not gonna lie, Dom's gonna do great work with the IC Championship. It's gonna be amazing to see, and he's the most famous Mysterio. So are we gonna watch and I'm gonna lock in and see what he does from now on.
Hey, man. That sounds good. W match, W match. Next match we should get into Randy Orton, who was supposed to fight Kevin Owens, but unfortunately due to his neck injury couldn't make it. But it's okay because we all believed in Joe Hendry to step up, and he did. But unfortunately, he was just a sacrificial lamb. Randy Orton hit him with the RKO. The match was pretty quick. In my opinion, I think that could have been a really good match if it was actually billed as a main event and it's like longer. It kind of reminded me of an early days WCW match. Like it was quick and you felt like it would have been a really good match, but they cut it short because they didn't have the budget to go longer. But it, hey, look, Joe Hendry did his thing. He definitely got the crowd going. The crowd loved him, and I love the way it ended though. I love how both Randy Orton and Joe Hendry showed their personalities. Joe Hendry doing the little turnaround and then RKO by Randy, and then Randy doing it to the fans and mocking him. So it ended good, but I wanted a little more. And so you already mentioned it, and we will talk about more on what happened on Raw. Yeah, you would have wanted more from that match, but it is what it is. So I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, that was awful. That was awful. Like I understand from WWE, you want to get that shock, which they did. If that was the goal, if they just wanted a shock, a surprise from all of us, that was shocking to see. Like nobody expected Joe Hendry to come out because he's a TNA World Champion, and we all knew Randy Orton needed to win. Now it was if it was competitive, like a competitive back and forth, then I'll give WWE some slack for that. But Orton fried him. Like Orton cooked the TNA World Champion. Like Joe Hendry, he's a face of a company. He's a face of
Yeah,
a
they owe
brand.
him. They owe him, and Joe Henry cannot
And
take that disrespect. This is
and
bad for
Orton,
him. This is
that's two
bad.
times. That's two times he got cooked on the main roster. On the Royal Rumble, WWE basically said Joe Hendry cannot compete with our main roster guys because he tried to do something with Roman, and Roman just flatline speared him, got him out of there. Now he in the ring with an older Randy Orton, and Orton, arcade Orton got him out of there, and he's supposed to be a world champion of a brand. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm sure TNA have to give approval for this. I'm not too sure like what's the vision, what's the plans going ahead forward. Because it's crazy to see Joe Hendry lose like that. Then for TNA pay per view, he's back to like dominating the people on that show. So I'm not too sure why they did that. I would have liked Jeff Hardy. I don't know
Okay.
what's the odds on that. Jeff Hardy coming out would have been super crazy and fun to see. And even Jeff Hardy took a loss like that, I mean, we wouldn't complain to it. He's not like the world champion over there. And the history between Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton too. So that'll be a huge callback. So I rather have seen that.
Okay. What about you, Josh? How do you feel about
Def, definitely agree with you. Jeff Hardy would have been the best option if it wasn't, Nick Aldis. Because I don't like what they did to Joe Hendry. I feel like that was dog crap. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I see why they did it. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of. Man, that's why I'm not the biggest fan of wrestling no more. Because everything is all about the pop. It's not about the story. It's all about the pop. It's all about the like. How can I say it? And it's like they they're not building the story. They're just looking for like that 5 second moment that's gonna go viral. Because Joe Hendry's a world champion, and they treated that dude like a jobber. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, it was a laughing stock. I see why TNA allowed it because it's bringing more exposure. Because if your world champion is on WWE television at the grandest stage of them all, yeah, you're gonna have some numbers coming in. Because there's gonna be a lot of casual fans that are not aware that TNA is still in existence, or like even if TNA even do exist, right? They're gonna come watch your product. But I don't think it should have been at the course of your world champion. Because now, when I'm looking at Joe Hendry face a Nick Nemeth or Moose, I'll be like, man, just beat this chump, get him out of here. Like, and it goes to show you what the partnership is doing, and that's why I don't want more. Not that's why I don't want no more partnerships, and I don't want companies buying out other companies because it starts to devalue the other companies. Because it looks like to me, TNA could only be on the level of NXT and barely, and TNA is its own promotion. So it's kind of sad to see, but if they wanted a moment, they wanted a pop, they definitely got it. Did I like the match? Nah. And dude just he lost to old Randy Orton. The TNA World Champion lose to the man. The TNA World Champion is like the cruiserweight championship in WWE, in my opinion. That's what it equals to, in my opinion. Like they show them guys no respect. And I ain't gonna lie, if I'm TNA, yeah, you getting the numbers, you getting the thing, but you're gonna end up killing your brand in the process because you're just gonna get bought out and be another developmental for them, realistically speaking. So I'm not gonna lie, I ain't like it at all. I thought it was corny, it was cheesy, and it wasn't good television.
it? Okay. Yeah, fact. Before I move on, I'm sorry for the fans, but I'm gonna make a little inside joke. Just so you and Josh gonna know what I'm talking about. I want both y'all to know I would never book Diana like that. Don't you ever get it twisted. I would never do that. I would never do that to her. Nah, TNA champion gotta be respected. I would never do that to her, bro. Never, ever. All right. Next match we should talk about. 5-star classic in my opinion. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Logan Paul won. I love the match. Personally, it was a lot of back and forth. Both of them did a play on the crowd, and Logan Paul, he showed out. He can wrestle. Like he really be doing his thing. And at WrestleMania, this could become a regular occasion for him. So yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot of Logan Paul, but he's cooking right now. It was a W match. AJ Styles is always nice to see him. He's back with a bigger frame, and he's definitely showed out too. So it was a good match, and it's good to see them go back and forth. We'll probably still see a rivalry between them after this match as well, but it was a good match in my opinion. Josh, this time I'll start with you. What did you think about the match?
Amazing match, They say, in my opinion, AJ Styles is the greatest wrestler of this. I wouldn't say this generation. I say last generation because there's a new generation now, right? And he could have a good match with anyone. And Logan Paul, coming from the background that he comes in from, he's a pretty damn good athlete. Like you can't even hate. Like if you hate you, it's okay to hate him, but you can't say that he's a bad wrestler. He's good at what he does. Like he knows how to work and he do what he wants. I like that. Um, the match was good. The results didn't really shock me. I know a lot of people was kind of upset. They're like, "Yo, he's like AJ Styles is a world class wrestler. Like, why is he losing Logan Paul?" But at the end of the day, you really think about it. AJ Styles is a little bit older, right? And I do see them doing something with AJ Styles towards the middle of the year because Cena's champion and that's one of Cena's better rivals. But at the moment though, they need to build up some momentum for Logan Paul because, like Baz asked earlier, like I feel like Jay Uso is probably like the best course of action because the heels on Raw is pretty limited and you know how WWE is. Jay's Mr. Yeet Man, he's over, and who's more hated than Logan Paul. So I feel like they're gonna create that dynamic between them, and I'm just hoping that could be a good match. And it was a great match, and I'm happy that he is, coming from where he's coming from. He still respect the sport, and he's showing the love that he have by being the character that he is. So it was great to see.
Facts. What about you, Bissell? How do you feel about the match?
For me, it was okay match. The biggest takeaway is Logan Paul is nice in the ring. I do agree, you guys. Logan Paul is nice. He knows how to work the crowd. Like during the part of the match, he did the Hulk Hogan stuff. He like did the and they went for the leg drop. That was cool to see. He had Styles for the Styles crash. So Logan, hey, based on a couple of years ago, looking back, he made a lot of improvement in the ring. He knows how to work the crowd. Overall, yeah, he did a great job with AJ Styles. Like Josh said, we all knew Logan Paul was going to win this match because it's time for him to push him back up to the main event again. We got a new champion, and hey, that'll be a great opponent for Jay's. Hey, that'll be a great opponent for Jay.
All right. Facts. All right. Next match. Tag Team Championship. We got Lyra Valkyria, who was supposed to be with Bailey, but a backstage attack got her injured. But it's okay because the legendary Becky stepped in. So it's Lyra and Becky against Liv and Raquel. Lyra and Becky got the W. The match was solid. But as per usual, the GOAT, Becky Lynch just did her thing. That's why they call her the man. She did her thing. You already know what she's all about. Story wise, I don't know where they go from here. But I'll let you cook with that, Basilio, because we all know what happened on Raw, what Becky did. Nasty works, but she's still my GOAT. I don't care. She's still my GOAT. Liv and Raquel, they had a good run, but Liv's had a great year, so it's always good for her. As for Raquel, I don't know what they're gonna do with her. I think she should have more opportunities on her own, but overall, it was a solid match. I can't be mad at it. But so I hand it over to you. What did you think about it?
The match was solid, but outside of the in ring work, it was awful. Uh, Once we heard Bailey was taken out, everybody knew who was coming out. I even told my fiance we was watching it together, and I saw Judgment Day come out, and then Liver come out, and I'm waiting for a tag team partner. And I was like, I told her, all you hear is oh, Becky's theme song. That's all you hear. And I was singing it, and then a couple of seconds later, it hit. And I was like, of course. I mean, who else will come out besides Becky Lynch? Who else will take Bailey's spot at WrestleMania besides Becky Lynch? But I just
Maxine
want to stand
Dupri.
out there. I do feel bad for Bailey because they said this was planned weeks in advance. So she did all this for the story just for Becky Lynch, and all this time she knew she was not getting a match at WrestleMania. All the podcasts, all the appearances you do, all the meet and greets, everything you do, leading up to WrestleMania weekend. Basically, she did it for no reason, just to be left on the bench just for Becky Lynch. I'm not a fan of that. I think they could have went to build that a different way, but and also with the hot potato stuff too, because they did win the tag team titles, and then they lost on Monday Night Raw. I'm as I keep saying it, the hot potato stuff. I'm not a fan of it. And then just for Becky to turn heel after, so now we're going to see Becky versus Lyra for the IC title. I do think hopefully Lyra goes over because they needed to start building some history with that title, and it starts with Lyra beating Becky Lynch. Because if Becky wins, I understand WWE might give it to a person like with a main event like Becky, but I don't want to see that. I'm good.
Understandable,
Man,
understandable. What about you,
shoot.
Josh?
Uh man. So damn, that's crazy. Like I ain't know that. So they just so Bailey's not even injured. That has to be the nastiest booking decision I've seen. One of the nastiest I've seen all weekend. I'm not gonna lie. That was absolutely terrible. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's the kind of stuff that would make me want to quit. Just imagine you working, and they got like Becky's not new, but you get a new employee, and that new employee get employee of the month when you've been grinding. That's kind of how I look at it. And WrestleMania is the biggest event of the year, so not being on it, that I know that hurts, and I don't know how they're gonna be able to keep morale's good with that. I hope it's good. In terms of the match, not really my cup of tea. I feel like those women's titles should be abolished. I don't know why they're still there because I feel like it takes away from the mid card the mid card champions, right? We need to see more of the mid card champions. We don't need these tag team champions, right? Because a lot of the teams, if you really look at it, they makeshift tag teams. They're not even real tag teams. They just put them together, just to have the match, but they're not real tag team. They have no chemistry, and it's not fun to watch. And then two, like them titles within the last year switch hands so many times. It's like, yo, like what? I don't even. I be forgetting who the champion is most of the time. So I feel like they need to get rid of that title and just have, you know, keep have the world titles, have the mid card titles, have everything, have these women in each separate division, and then we'll have better compelling television, realistically speaking, because they have a lot of women that they're not using, and they only use them when they're trying to do a a match where they have multiple women fighting for the tag team titles. But who wants to see that? There's no story, there's no nothing. I don't want to see that. They losing me.
Heard you on that. Heard you on that. All right. Main event. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes against John Cena. We all know what happened. We all saw, hey, you can't see me, but we all saw what he did. We all saw what he did, bro. He won, y'all. He got eternal PTO. He won. He did what The Rock sent him out to do. He won. But, hey, me personally, I love the match. It was a little slow pace for me, in my opinion, but I love the match. Both of them sold their moves. They played to the crowd, and the way that it ended, it was perfect. I love how they played on Cody's personality as being too good-hearted. He couldn't get the finishing blow on Cena, but Cena was like, "Don't worry, big bro, I got you." Mink with the title, he got the pin. But ultimately, both of y'all know I'm really happy Travis Scott got involved and caught a crossroads. I needed him to get that receipt. I needed him to get that badly. So it was good to see that. But it was a good event. It was a good event. 5-star classic, not really, but it was a really good match. It was a really good match. John Cena broke the record. I'm a fan of that. I know last wrestling episode we did, I was saying how I don't really want him to go away with the title. We'll see what happens from here. I still don't want to get another title. I want that disputed WWE Championship to stay right where it's at. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but I was having a flashback to what Josh said too on the last wrestling pod, how people are gonna get tired of Cody being a champion at some point. So it's like, would I like even if he did win, which I would have wanted him to win, do fans really want to see another year of Cody Rhodes being a champion? And at some point they gonna hate him, and I don't want that for him. But now he might turn into Cody Homelander. We might see that. So, but it was a good match. I love that. So I'll hand it over to you. What do you think about
Shout out to John Cena, breaking the title, breaking the record for the most title reigns. That's my goal. He definitely deserve it. Talking about his entrance. His entrance was I messed with the entrance. I did love his entrance because it was all that he needed. It was just a black screen, and then on the words in white, big white letters, oh, it shows John Cena. That was perfect because we look at his other entrance over the years. It's a lot of colors. Like The Rock called him once upon a time a couple of years ago, Fruity Pebbles. Like he had green shirts, yellow shirts, orange shirts, red, blue, like all types of colors. Like he'll come in like Fruity Pebbles. Like he had a bunch of different colors. So to see him this year, all serious, he got the black on, the whole thing black, just plain and simple. I did love that entrance. But in terms of the match, uh, it was nothing like too crazy. It was okay match to me. I felt like they were spamming finishers. I saw like a crossroads here and there. I saw like 5 add 2 adjustments. But it was okay. The Travis Scott interference, he took like 2 days, 3 days to walk down the ramp. All her is fiend, fiend,
it?
fiend, fiend. And he was seeing a sweet time walking down the ramp like he's the Undertaker Roman Reigns.
Uh,
And then when he entered that ring, now it was just funny to see he tried to slap Cody Rhodes again. Cody Rhodes caught him, and then Travis Scott just looked at him and then looked down. And he just took that crossroads. That was hilarious. And the ending, I mean, I didn't care too much for the ending because for Cody Rhodes, I mean, I understand, like, of course, that's what they decided to do. But like, just watching the product, it was kind of stupid for Cody Rhodes to say, maybe I should forgive this guy in the match because John Cena was begging for forgiveness, and like Cody Rhodes just let him rock. Because like, if I'm Cody Rhodes, he low blow me before. Why would he not low blow me again for the championship on the line? Why would he not do that? Because he already did it once. So I'm not sure what Cody was expecting there. And John Cena was he was doing dirty tactics all throughout the match. So I don't know what was Cody thinking. But hey, shout out to John Cena. I'm not mad that he won. Shout out John Cena. Let's just be curious to see what happens next because we saw Monday Night Raw. He said he got 27 days left. He's on Ruin Wrestling. That's it for the title. And who we see come out from that ring? Randy Orton. Randy came in there.
They talk to
Oh, you heard
me. Whoa, they talk to
Arcade
me.
Odom. So that looks like our backlash will be John Cena, Randy Orton one last time. This is what I need to see, man. This is what I need to see.
Right, man. WWW. Josh, what did you think about it? What do you think about the story?
Man, that was the best match of the night. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like that was that was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. The booking was, bro. The build was garbage. The build was garbage in my opinion. Cause like the two caliber of, if it was just two random schmucks, I'd be like, oh, it was okay, right? But the two biggest names in the industry right now, that build was not that good. I'm not gonna lie, and the match was even worse. I'm not gonna lie, but I do get there was reasons why it was like that, so I'm not gonna say too much on it. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not like the match. And if this is the kind of build we're gonna be getting for the next year or so, I am not gonna be watching. I am canceling my subscription today. I'm not
Damn.
gonna lie to you. I don't feel like, honestly, like this storyline has so much potential, but it ain't take me nowhere. For me, the kind of wrestling fan that I am, like I enjoy matches, right? I enjoy 5-star matches, but I want the story to take me on a roller coaster, realistically speaking. And this storyline did not take me onto a roller coaster. There was nothing thrillful about it. And the match was not even good. It was just a bunch of false finishes with finishers, realistically speaking. If I wanted to do that, I'd just watch some classic WCW. I'm good. I wasn't really feeling it like that. But that's all I gotta say, man, to wrap it up. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. Okay. Well, y'all, that's been our thoughts at ringside about WrestleMania. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for updates when we upload. If you made it to the end of the video, just comment on a scale of 1 to 10 what you thought about this year's WrestleMania. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.